Hello. Yeah, the Blazers suck. I mean, Lillard had 61 last game and 47 this game, but we lost both games. I mean, we won the one before, but we lost tonight. We Are Freaks mug. Yep, they suck. The Blazers. Yeah, that means Lillard in the last two games has 108 points. It's like 54. That's crazy. But I would trade, right now, I would trade Lillard and another good player for Luka Doncic. I mean, he's the best. I think he's like one of those rare one in a generation type players that just literally can do everything. But there you go. He's only 20 years old too, if you can believe it. Hello. That's right, I'm back. And it sounds like the way you said it is like that. Which would be, you can only access those special emojis if you're a channel member. Yeah. So earlier tonight there was a missing person. Her name was, or is, excuse me, Emily Suarez, but she actually then was found later. However, it's kind of strange. I mean, listen to this. I mean, she was last seen leaving her school, it sounds like, I think it was on the 22nd at 9:45 a.m. And then they found her today in some other place called, let's see. I don't know what this means exactly, but it says Emily on Thursday, January 23rd, 2020, at approximately 4:10, Alhambra Police Department detectives located Emily Suarez in the Inland Empire. What is the Inland Empire in California? Anybody know what that is? Never heard of it. Yeah. And then it says Emily is currently with our detectives and we are investigating the circumstances. Now the thing is she actually had sent a text message. So let's see. So even though they found her, there's something weird about it. So there she is walking and texting. And let's see. It says she sent a text saying a man is trying to talk to me as she walked along the street in downtown Alhambra. So I wonder what happened. They might want to look into this guy regardless, see what's going on there. Or try to figure out who the hell, who knows. Let's just see what the detectives come up with. She could have actually just said that and wanted to hang out with somebody. Now she's got to try to spin a web. All right. Okay, this one is interesting. A few different people sent me this one. The DNA helps solve... Oh, you can't see it, so hold on. You guys couldn't even see what I had on the screen before. But you didn't really need to see it. It was just text. So this is DNA helps solve 1999 serial rapist case in Cobb County. And what was interesting is I went back in time and it was hard. I think I did find one that was related to this though. Look, it says there was 3 rapes and they all occurred between June. Let me turn this down a little bit. They all occurred between June and October 1999 at separate locations, all within a 3-mile radius. They all occurred in pre-dawn hours, with each female waking in her own bed to find an unknown male standing over her. Let me open this up. See, and I think that that's what this is related. This is June 25th. It's a rape reported in South Cobb County. South Cobb County woman was raped earlier Thursday by a man who crawled through an unlocked window at her home. The 28-year-old victim awoke about 2:40 a.m. to find a slender man wearing a mask standing over her bed at Waterford condominiums. So I think this is one of them. Pierce said investigators do not think the crime was committed by the so-called North Side rapist, who police believe is responsible for more than 20 unsolved rapes, sexual assaults, and robberies in Cobb, Fulton, and DeKalb counties. It's a totally different MO. According to the district attorney's office, each woman immediately reported the assault to Cobb police and underwent medical exams that collected and preserved semen left by the rapist. Each rape kit was tested by the Georgia Bureau of Investigation. That's the same GBI, the same one that DJ Ficky. Let's see. At the time of the assaults, and the DNA profile from each of the 3 kits was identical, indicating the same perpetrator raped each of the women. But despite repeated checks, that profile never matched to any known offender whose DNA profile was in CODIS. So he never was put in jail for anything. Or prison, I guess. In late 2018, Senior Assistant District Attorney Teresa Schieffer, who is assigned to the Georgia Sexual Assault Kit Initiative Task Force, began looking at the case at the request of the Cold Case Unit and determined advanced DNA testing may be appropriate in this case to identify the rapist. Schieffer approached Criminal Justice Coordinating Council, which funds the GASAKI project through the Federal Bureau of Justice Assistance, to inquire whether SAKI funds could be used for the advanced testing, and they approved approximately $10,000. I don't think DNA Doe project costs anywhere near that much. From there, the Cobb SAKI team and Cold Unit researched researched that individual's background and found not only that he lived in Metro Atlanta at the time of the crimes, but had arrests for charges that include peeping Tom, indecent exposure, and burglary incidents in Cobb, Gwinnett County. So maybe, I don't know, that thing about collecting DNA for CODIS, I think they do that for everybody now, if you make it to prison, maybe in some states, I guess. But back then, I don't know if they did it for just regular, sort of basic crimes. I don't know when that became prolific. I think it was just for sexual assaults and murders, things like that. But I don't know. In December 2019, 2 investigators traveled to Arkansas, where Arkansas State Police assisted in executing a search warrant to collect a known sample of the man's DNA for comparison. In an interview after the sample was collected, the suspect denied committing any sexual assaults. As investigators returned to Cobb the following day, they learned from Arkansas investigators that the suspect had gone missing and was soon found deceased. Oh, weird. The GBI's forensic biology section expedited testing of the DNA collected from the suspect, Lorenzo Novoa Williams, 48, and it indeed matched the profile from 1999 rape kits. I'm incredibly proud, not only, they're really happy that they they figured it out. Man, how many? It's so often now where they're finding who the killer is, but they're dead already. I wonder how this guy ended up dead. He probably realized, oh, they're on to me. And he probably knew about the new technology and just figured out, shit, I'll go out on my own terms. I don't know. He might have been murdered. I have no idea. Yep, no court cast. But I do think that this one is related to that. I just couldn't find any more. There were supposedly 2 other rapes. I'm sure there's more. There's no way this guy just did 3 rapes in 3 months and then call it a day. You know, he probably moved around and raped in different states. I bet they should probably go ahead and test different states. Unsolved rape. Well, one of the problems is there's a lot of semen and evidence collected out there, but they're not tested. Like, that's why New York, I think it was, got a massive grant to test like thousands of rape kits that have never been tested. All right, here's another one.
The all-new Kelly Rowland for Fabletics collection is here.
This collection gives you...
Hey, all right. Got 11 seconds left.
The case captivated Philadelphia in the late 1980s. The murder and sexual assault of Barbara Jean Horn. Walter Ogrod has been behind bars for her murder for nearly 3 decades.
Yeah, this is one that I was talking earlier today with Chasing Truth. And I think she has an autistic son. And apparently this guy's autistic right here. And he got accused of murdering. And he's been behind bars this whole time, but now they're going to test the DNA, and they wouldn't do that unless there was pretty good evidence that he wasn't guilty regardless.
Decades, but his family and supporters are hopeful that he could be.
You know, when I saw him walking right here, I immediately thought there was something mentally wrong with him. And then it turns out after reading the article and the story that he's actually on the spectrum.
Freed thanks to new DNA evidence. Action News investigative reporter Chad Pradelli joins us in the studio tonight, and you've got these new developments.
Yeah, Jim, according to the family and court records, male DNA found on fingernail scrapings of little Barbara Jean Horn is not that of Walter Ogrod. They're hoping these new findings and other facts will finally exonerate Barbara Jean Horn.
And you've got these new developments.
Yeah, Jim, according to the family and court records, male DNA found on fingernail scrapings of little Barbara Jean Horn is not that of Walter Ogrod.
Oh, that's crazy. I didn't know they actually did the test yet.
They're hoping these new findings and other facts will finally exonerate him.
Everybody's scared to death.
It was a murder of a 4-year-old.
We might have had 7, 8 suspects.
What do you say the charges against you?
Walter Ogrod is guilty.
Give him a break, will you?
Court records say the 1992 Walter Ogrod confession to police went like this. The 23-year-old lured Barbara Jean Horn to his Rutland Street basement to play doctor, tried to sexually assault her. When she screamed, he beat the 4-year-old with a weight bar, cleaned her body in a tub, and without changing clothes, went outside to the alley to get a TV box, put her body in it, then dragged it to a nearby street curb. We revisited the alleged crime scene with Ogrod's brother.
People were living in the living room and dining room like that's their sleeping area.
Greg Ogrod wants to know how no one in the house heard the crime, saw him drag the bloody body through the house, or anything tying him to the murder. He applauds District Attorney Larry Krasner for allowing the new DNA testing he says will exonerate his brother.
It's amazing how he keeps his chin up. It's time to bring him home.
But even before the DNA, the author of the trials of Walter Ogrod, Tom Lowenstein, says the case was rife with misconduct. Lowenstein says Ogrod, who is on the autism spectrum, was coerced into his confession after 36 hours without sleep.
Wow, that sounds a lot like another case. What case is that, everybody? Can you say Brandon Dassey?
7 o'clock the next morning when they took him downstairs and they booked him, he's calling people and saying, I didn't do this, they're railroading me.
It's been an incredible investigation. We're just glad that it finally comes to an end.
Even more troubling for the Ogrod family is the Philadelphia police detectives on the case, Paul Worrell, and in particular, Marty Devlin.
Marty Devlin was known in the police force as Detective Perfect, or the Golden Marty. He claimed to have a 95% clearance rate, and again, that's sort of like 95% clearance rate for a homicide detective is kind of like Mark McGuire hitting 75 home runs. You know, did he do it honestly?
2 convictions involving the 2 homicide detectives have since been overturned, and it seemed jurors had concerns with that original confession. The first jury acquitted Ogrod, but as the foreman was reading the verdict, one juror blurted out he wanted to change his mind.
Oh, wow. Can you believe that? So he was acquitted the first time around. And then as the foreman, they were just reading the verdict, one of the jurors said, I changed my mind, he's guilty. And then there was a mistrial. Doesn't that suck? So that person, let's just say that this guy is innocent. That person who said that, you're a loser, okay? Because the other people on the jury had an inkling, okay? Now, if it turns out he is the killer somehow, then man, you're a hero. But my God, really? What were you doing back in the jury room?
A mistrial was declared. Ogrod was eventually convicted on the testimony of 2 jailhouse snitches that Ogrod's lawyers say have been thoroughly discredited.
It's time to let him out. And what about the real killer? Like some monster did this.
Yeah, that's the beauty of it. They can take that DNA that cleared him, the fingernail clippings, and now run it through Parabon or DNA Doe Project or any of the other ones, and figure out who the person is. And does it make sense? Like, wow, yeah, that guy was on our radar too. It's really simple, but people just don't. I wish I could just sort of run everything in the law enforcement world and just say, yeah, and do it where it's you could just make it so. Because right now I'd say, listen, I want you to send that DNA tomorrow to Parabon Nanolabs and then have them upload it to GEDmatch, and let's figure out who that is. Not, we got, okay, but hold on. Okay, just a second. Okay, we got to work through the system now. We've got to appeal to the courts, and what we're going to do next is we're going to shut the hell up, you idiot. Okay? It's so obvious. The clippings underneath their nails. That's what it was all about. So now the technology's out there to prove it. I think any case that's out there where DNA was a compelling piece of evidence and the person claims they didn't do it, I think right now with the technology that's available, every single DNA kit out there should be retested in those cases. I just do. I mean, life is too precious, and you're just wasting. There's people that have been executed in the United States, okay, that didn't do it, and that's horrible. Before this DNA technology was out, how many people do you think were executed that didn't do it? When you have 40 people taken off of death row, exonerated. At that point, you realize that prior to DNA being tested, those same 40 people would have been executed. at some point. So, yeah. Let's go test them all now. Yeah, it'll cost millions of dollars, but that's just the way it is.
Is to Barbara Jean. You know, her killer's still out there.
And Worrell and Devlin had no comment. Horn's
Yeah, I agree with that too, Cairo. It's not, to me, it's not it's the greater good, man. It's the good. No, bullshit. Okay? What you want is something that's right, accurate, fair. So having 10 butchers running around, you know, I've said that exact same thing many times on the show. It's just, the thing is it's just not, it's horrible. One innocently executed. I wouldn't even want them to be in prison. I mean, somebody that's in prison serving 30 years of their life and they didn't do it. Think of how horrible that is as a country to be doing to somebody. It's absolutely horrible. And I don't really know what to, you know. I just wish that somebody could just step forward and deem it so. Like, get a president, or, you know, but it doesn't really work like that. It just seems like the attorney general or somebody needs to say, listen, we're going to need $1 billion of funding for this, but we are going to back test all these different cases where DNA was the sole, well, it wasn't really DNA, it was that there was DNA available, but they weren't able to test it at that time. So like anything prior to like 1995-ish, you know, go back. And then you got cases where the DNA didn't match, but they still got him and they kind of wiggled, well, the DNA was from something else. And, yeah. Well, why don't you go back now and test that DNA and see if that was another viable suspect? That's it, Gene? That's the only thing that you agree with me on? Yeah. But, well, that's true. I disagree with almost everything you say on every show. So you're right. I don't agree. We don't agree very often. It's like I read your comments and I'm just rolling my eyes dramatically like, what the hell? What does that even mean? So I'm with you there. I'm with you. They're too busy spending money on an impeachment. Oh, yeah. Yeah. That's right. Afraid to pay all the lawsuits. Well, something needs to be done to make the entire system fair again. Yeah. Well, the thing is prosecutors shouldn't have to worry about what their record is. That's the truth of it. The facts should. So if a prosecutor goes to trial and they're able to present the true facts and they don't win, then that's just the way it is. Okay, it's when they start inventing shit, they put it out there. That's when it's like, what, you know. It just feels like it should be illegal or something. It's crazy. Absolutely crazy. And that's why I say often, if a prosecutor uses those tricky techniques just to get the conviction, and somebody like this guy is in jail for 30-something years, well, the prosecutor should have to serve 10, right? Or 15 even, just for doing that. Okay, so that would make them think twice about inventing shit. Because if somebody's actually innocent, I mean, think about it like this. Somebody's on death row, right? Think about that. Somebody's on death row, and then they get exonerated when the DNA doesn't match. So then you go back to the trial again. They should go back and study these damn trials and ask yourself, how in the hell did that person get convicted when it wasn't them? So then you have to, then you could look at it and study it and, wow, look at that. Look how they tricked the jury at that moment. See how they said that? Oh, look at how they said it. Because it'd be incredible studies, right? Because every single thing that the prosecutor said in there was manipulated to sell a story that wasn't true. Yeah. I mean, seriously. I think it'd be really interesting to get these case files of people that have been exonerated and then look at how the trial went and what technique was used. It's insane. God, it's insane. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I could do any of that stuff, but I'm just saying, doesn't it just make sense? There's things out there that just make sense and they don't happen. God, it just drives me batty, man.
About 2-3 weeks into Noom, I saw a commercial on TV. I go, Noom should have me.
I almost want to go back in time and check this one out. What the heck was that? What is that? Oh, bookmarks. That was a different one. What the heck? What happened to that one I was just looking at? Oh. That was weird. It just disappeared. I see it though. I want to play this one. But we're going to have to wait 27 seconds. Yeah, there's a lot of common sense missing from the world. Like just watching these hearings going on. My God, just... I mean, I actually know for sure on one of the clips that Adam Schiff was putting on the screen that he edited out information from a clip that showed the exact opposite of what he said. He's a liar. You know, it's unbelievable. And it's weird because that's in front of, it's like you swore yourself in, and then he lies by editing a video, but he'll say, well, I didn't mean to do it that way. It was an accident.
My test from the doctor showed negative on everything.
Yeah, I guess if you even rewind it slightly, it goes all the way back to the beginning. So unfortunately, I wasn't looking at the screen. Yeah, right now, everybody in government are hypocritical. It is a joke. I mean, it is really disgusting, everything right now. I think we should just start all over again. Keep the Constitution,
Police
but
searched
start
house
over.
to house in this northeast Philadelphia neighborhood for witnesses who can help identify the person investigators believe may have killed 4-year-old Barbara Jean Fahey. A few hours after her stepfather noticed she was missing yesterday, Barbara Jean's battered body was found in this appliance box around the corner from her house in the 1400 block of St. Vincent Street.
The body was unclothed, and there were several injuries apparently caused by blunt impact to the head.
A neighbor discovered the girl's body in the box. Witnesses tell police they'd seen a man dragging the box up the street earlier. Late this afternoon, police released a composite sketch of the man. He's described as 25 to 30 years old, 5'8", 160 pounds, with sandy blonde hair. Mike Massey says he was in his office.
Well, that guy looked a hell of a lot bigger than 160 pounds, didn't he?
Down the street when he saw the suspect dragging the box.
The gentleman stood for about 10 or 15 seconds as if to catch his breath. Stooped down, dragged the box by a plastic bag, which was protruding from the bottom of the box.
Wow.
And he continued to drag the box up St. Vincent Street.
People in the neighborhood say the incident reminds them of how vulnerable their children
That's pretty amazing audio for a report that came out in 1988, don't you think?
are. And today, there aren't as many children outside playing as usual. Parents say the quiet is a sign of their fear and their sadness.
I mean, I didn't sleep all night. Just wondering if this creep is still out here. Wondering if he's going to do that to another child.
I think this place is turning into a crime wave.
Do you feel safe?
As long as I'm in my house, I do.
So today, parents kept their children close to home, within eyesight.
Everybody's scared to death. I don't want my kids out until this maniac's caught.
Linda Green's son Charlie was Barbara's playmate. When he
This
saw
is in
Barbara was not out
Philadelphia.
playing with her toys in her pool, he asked what happened. She said, "Your friend is in heaven," and hoped he understood. Denise James, Channel 6 Action News in Northeast Philadelphia.
Yeah, let's see if we can find any of this.
Leah, your wedding looks amazing. How did you do it?
I had help.
Yeah, that guy looks a lot bigger than 160 pounds, didn't you think? Yeah, so it looks like, okay, July 16th. Must be right around this time. A stricken neighborhood remembers. Well, that doesn't really look like the guy at all either, does it? The last time neighbors saw Barbara Jean Horn alive, the 4-year-old girl was walking up her block of Rutland Street toward Cotman Avenue, hand in hand with a man, police sources said yesterday. It was about 3:30 p.m. Tuesday, an hour and a half after her stepfather, John Fahey, had reported her missing. The man with her was between 25 and 30, about 5'8" and 160 pounds, with sandy or brown hair and a suntan, witnesses told police. He wore cut-off jeans and a white t-shirt. No more than a half hour later, Mike Massey, the new car manager of Kuttner Buick, saw a man of a similar description, that's the guy we just saw in that interview, dragging a box for a 13-inch Hitachi television set down St. Vincent Street in the city's Castor Gardens section. About 5:30 p.m., a neighbor's screams brought Jack Tarante to that same cardboard box, then abandoned under a tree. Inside, he found the nude body of the young girl with dark hair and bangs and partially covered by dark plastic trash bag. An autopsy conducted later Tuesday showed she had been hit about 5 times with a blunt object on top and back of her head. There were no signs of struggle or sexual assault. Police yesterday were canvassing the narrow streets of row houses and twin homes that cross Castor Avenue just south of Cotman Avenue. Meanwhile, the stable family neighborhood was transformed into a place where wary eyes watched the moves of strangers and mothers' hands firmly gripped their children. All right, let me read this. The neighbors who told police that they saw the girl at 3:30 p.m. were about a half block away at the time, detectives said. Massey said in an interview that he was sitting at a desk by a window facing St. Vincent Street around 3:30 or 4 p.m. when he noticed a man walking north on the west side of Castor Avenue carrying a television box in his arms. The man crossed St. Vincent Street about 20 feet in front of Massey and stopped in the front lawn of the Lutheran Church of St. Luke at 7200 Castor Avenue. He put the box down and appeared to catch his breath. After 15 or 20 seconds, the man reached down and grabbed hold of a dark plastic bag that was protruding from the bottom of the box and began pulling the box along the sidewalk toward the middle of 1400 block of St. Vincent Street. Maybe I should, let me see this. 7200 Castor Avenue, Philadelphia. So that's that church right there. He put the box down and appeared to catch his breath. After 15-20 seconds, the man reached down and grabbed hold of a dark plastic, and then he went to the middle of the 1400 block of St. Vincent Street. So it looks like it was just right. Yeah. So that's St. Vincent Street, right? Let's see. Yeah, St. Vincent Street. So in the middle of this block, I guess. So this is where he put the box down, caught his breath, and then drug the body down in this direction right there. So that's the church where he caught his breath. And then he went down this direction. And then somewhere down here, he placed her body. Let's see. Tarante came upon the box after a neighbor started screaming after discovering it where trash had been sitting a few hours before. Lying in there face down in the fetal position was a real small child, Tarante said. In an interview Tuesday, its back was facing to me. It was horrible. The autopsy performed in the medical examiner's office showed that blows on the top and back of her head were probably what killed the girl. The body bore no scratches or cuts. Police have taken a serial number from the television box, which they are trying to trace. Inspector Charles Farrell of the Northeast Detective Division said 4 homicide and 4 burglary detectives canvassed the neighborhood yesterday morning, and that another dozen or so officers would be joining the effort after 3:30. So that was the 14th. Walter Ogrod, is that this guy? Now I gotta remember. Yeah. So Walter Ogrod. This is 2 days later. Untrue confessions. Ogrod, King trials, and suspect who later recant. I congratulate Alfred by standing up to the rest of the jurors in Ogrod Fahey case. This is later. This is 1993. Never mind. I was wondering about that. Okay, this is July 16th, 1988. Well, let me type that guy's name in. That'll probably... As soon as he shows up once, that'll be the very first time his name shows up will be when he was arrested. Huh. Let me try 1988 to 1990. Court of Common Pleas. And late of Walter Ogrod Sr. I don't know what that's related to. Hey, thanks, Amanda. I appreciate it. Yep, just trying to build up the funds for the end of the month donations. I'm trying to do $1,000 this month to total. We've done 500 right now, and we're trying to get it up to another 500, maybe going to. Well, I was thinking of doing like 300 to DNA Dope Project and 200 to the Center for Exploited and Missing Children.
Hi Gray, just wanted to thank you for everything you do for so many people.
But yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Yeah, I got to get back to the. No, that's okay. So it's weird that maybe that's his dad. I mean, how many Walter Ogrods are there, you know? So I don't know if he went. I don't think he was arrested. I think it took a while to arrest this guy. Let's see, 1991 to 1992. Okay, there's right there. Here we go. A long ago mother fights to save son. Okay, well I don't know when that was. When that arrest was. Let me go back again. So that was 92. Lanky Tour. Thank you. Parking spots. Gray's the best. All right. Well, thanks. The Love Boat.
Parking spots. Gray is the best heart suit.
Are you looking for a parking spot, Lanky Tour? Yeah. It was something the detective said that caused Walter J. Ogrod to burst into tears. He had been telling his story about how his neighbor, 4-year-old Barbara Jean Horn, came to his door that day in July, almost 4 years ago, looking for the 6-year-old boy who lived there, how he left the girl in and how he went upstairs or let the girl in and went upstairs and didn't see her again. Homicide Detective Martin Devlin looked at Ogrod. "You're not telling us the truth, are you, Walter?" he said. The notation at that point in the police record of Ogrod March 5th interrogation. So let's see, what day is this? This is May, so it must have been this same year in March. The notation at that point in the police record of Ogrod March 5th interrogation released yesterday after the suspect's preliminary hearing reads, Mr. Ogrod had placed his head in his hands and has started crying. After a pause to let Ogrod get control of himself, the interrogation continued, and Ogrod blurted out the details of how he beat that little girl to death in the basement of his home on Rutland Street near Cotman Avenue on July 12, 1988. He related how he carried her body in a cardboard TV carton all over Northeast Philadelphia. See, I'd love to see this interrogation. Wouldn't you? Because we don't know. But see, the thing is, we don't know if this guy did it. See, that's what this whole point of this is, Crime Canary. The whole point of this is that this guy's been in prison for 30-something years. He's on the autism spectrum. And apparently they tested the DNA that was underneath Barbara Jean Horn's fingernails, and they didn't match this guy, the same guy that the detectives claiming said these things. I wonder if that was on video. I mean, he might be guilty. You know, he's still in prison. And maybe the clippings underneath her nail, who knows, what those are. I mean, do they look like they're under a few nails, like she was trying to escape, or... But what they really need to do is take the DNA that was underneath their nails, run it through Parabon, and then track down who that person was. And does that person make sense too? Has he been arrested over the years for like child pornography or anything like that, right? No, I mean, what I just read, I would say the same thing, Crime Canary. I'm just letting you know that that's what this is about.
Here's to us working and listening to Gray.
Yeah, I finally figured out something that was really complicated in my work today. It's taken a long time, and finally, there it is. Got the answer. Hey, thank you, Christy Seep and Lori Staggs. That's right. Who's the Michael Jordan, though, Tiger Boxing? I'll take Clyde Drexler, though. He was awesome. Drexler's probably the most underrated player ever. I mean, even though he's rated really high, he was incredible. He just happened to play during Jordan's time, and everyone doesn't remember what he was doing. I mean, look at this. He doesn't even make faces. He just walks around. I'd like to see the interrogation video of that. I have a feeling... So this is 1992. I'm going to put in March 1992. Now. So if I put April 1992... There we go. Man arrested. This is right when he was arrested, right around this time. Man arrested in 1988, murder of girl. So it took him 4 years to do this. I wonder if they just sort of went... this is what it feels like. If he is innocent, this is what it feels like to me. It feels like they just weren't getting anywhere. Then they went back and revisited their old notes and remembered talking to this guy and thought, hey, a clever person out there thought, hey, this is a good guy to pin this on so we can clear this off our books. If he's innocent. Because he would be a perfect person to do that to. Yeah, I don't think he looks 160 pounds. But this is also, think about it like this. This is 4 years later. So maybe 4 years prior, he was thinner or whatever, He is 27 at this time, so at that time he was 23. And most of us were thinner at 23 than we were at 27. And we were thinner at 25 than we are at 54. Well, thanks, Lane S. Yeah, I mean, I try to communicate with the listeners. You know, I call it, we're more like the freak family, though. I don't really think listeners. You know, it's like, listener sounds kind of cold, like the radio or something.
I really enjoy your live chats. All
Thank
of
you.
your shows are great, but I enjoy seeing the interaction between you and your listeners.
Yeah, so a lot of times I'll look over and somebody will make a comment and then I'll comment, but I don't do that the whole show. I think that's sort of like, what's the point of that at that point? You know, what, because, you know, I actually put stuff together for shows, you know, and other people, they just sort of go live and they just have some general thing and everybody starts talking and so forth. It's a lot easier to do that. I mean, there's some cases I can do that on, you know, like Kanika Jenkins, I could do a 8-hour show without even doing a damn thing. Right? I could literally just sit there and keep talking about it. That's right, I am mean. Yep, look at that. Cairo said I was mean, so there we go.
Gray, you're so mean.
Well, too bad, Gray. You're now in So Mean prison.
But how long do I have to stay here for?
Well, not long.
Oh boy. Lanky tour. Not mean. No nonsense. Yep, that's right. I've done that before too, Joan Milano. You know the worst thing, when the craziest thing is when I'm looking for my glasses and then I realize they're on my face. Excellent, excellent. Well, good, Gene, because I mean to you the most. Shaking in your boots. Oh, you mean with those voices? Yeah. So he came in voluntarily, it's saying. Oh, there we go. I am now out of jail. Thanks, Sooner History. Do-do-do. Do-do-do.
They're a fiver.
There's a fiver. Yeah, so it looks like this guy, he came forward on his own. Ogrod came voluntarily and was arrested after questioning. The detective refused to say what led to suspicion of, so maybe they asked him if he wanted to come in. Possible motives or whether he had made any statements. We might have had 7, 8 suspects. We had grand jury investigations, and as a result of us reevaluating... See, there you go. Didn't I say that? look at that. That's exactly what I said a minute ago. And as a result of us reevaluating the case, just recently, we come up with that, he said. Mm-hmm. Exactly, yeah. Exactly. Evidence showed, my theory was, a minute ago, was that after 4 years of nothing, they went and looked at the case again. And then saw somebody like, hey, that guy seems kind of off. Maybe we can pin it on him. Lanky Tor loves me. Yay! Well, I love all you guys. You guys are, every day, make it a good day. All right? Yeah, that's right. We might have had 7 or 8 suspects. We had grand jury investigations. And as a result of us reevaluating the case just recently, we came up with that. What is the that? Let me see. He said he was a little surprised the case was solved after all this time and everything. We put a lot of time and effort in there. This is some weird shit right here. No weapon had been found, he said. As for focusing on Ogrod, the investigation went many different directions, and subsequent to that, we reevaluated his possible role. And after reevaluating the case recently, we came up with that. That seems weird to say the word that there. Evidence showed the girl was killed in the basement of the house at 7244. Oh, now we can go to that one. 7244 Rutland Street. Oh, no, I wish I could do escape and go back. I don't even remember, like, where's that church now? Well, anyways, this is that street. I thought it was going to be right there. Yeah, it's right in that one building right there. In the basement of that building. Right there. And look at that, there's a window right there for the basement. Creepy. Kind of reminds me of Jean Benet a little bit, doesn't it? Wasn't there a similar kind of window? In what Appledorn termed a coincidence, the same basement was the scene of the stabbing death of a 16-year-old girl in 1986. Coincidence? What the hell are you talking about? That's not a coincidence. There's no way that... I mean, how could that be a... Like, listen. In the same basement, you have a 16-year-old girl killed in 1986, and she was killed in 1988, right? So in the same basement, you have 2 people murdered. Really? That's a coincidence? Wow. That many people die? I mean, it's like... I don't know about you guys. Within 2 years, 2 random people dying in the same basement, and they're not related. How is that possible? It's not like it's an abandoned building or something. Now I want to look that one up. Walter Ogrod was in the house at the time of the 1986 attack in which Maureen Dunn was killed and Ogrod's brother Greg Ogrod was seriously injured. 4 men were convicted of that murder, which police said was a result of a drug dispute involving Greg Ogrod. Well, I guess that explains it then. That just seems crazy, though. Are you kidding me? In the same house? Maybe, though. Maybe they are related somehow, though. It just seems like that's just so low odds. Hey, thanks, Cairo. It could be a coincidence, but just based on what we just read there. But maybe it's, God, I don't know, God. I mean, what was Greg Ogrod doing? That job was cleared by arrest earlier, so there's no connection. That job was cleared by arrest earlier, so there's no... What does that mean? They really spent a lot of time trying to explain how it's not related, because it does seem really astronomically low odds there. I mean, who would buy that house now? Hey, don't mind us, everybody. Yeah, the way... I mean, listen, there was a... a 16-year-old that was killed in 1986, and then a little girl was killed in there in 1988. But it's a good piece of property, and that's when you just demolish the building and build a new one. Well, his name it's John Lorden with an L, but yeah, he's great. Yeah. That job was cleared by arrest earlier. There was no connection. He did not know if Barbara Jean was killed in the same room as the... You see, they keep going and keep talking about it. Okay, you cleared it already, but now you're talking about the same room and everything. And I think they still have questions about that in their minds, or they wouldn't keep talking about it. Appledorm said he did not know if Barbara Jean was killed in the same room as the 1986 murder. The girl's body was found stuffed in a box along St. Vincent Street about an hour and a half after her death. Let's see. So St. Vincent Street. I just wanted to get a visual. Okay, that's St. Vincent Street. Where's that church, though? Darn it. Well, I can just type, let's see. Churches near... Okay, is that it? I don't think that was it. Not that one. Do you remember, I don't even remember that address at this point because I don't have that article open anymore. I'm just kind of going through these. So. Should have been putting pins out while I was talking. It's on the corner where the street stars. What do you mean? Where the street stars? Yeah, I thought it was, well, it was a big building. It was like, but it had trees around the front. It almost kind of looked like that. Yeah, I mean, John Lorden is the only, I mean, he does YouTube videos, right? And I think he's one of the best at those. I don't do YouTube videos as much as I used to. Now I just do a live show every single night, basically. That's it. It's a totally different thing. Yeah, I don't know. I don't see the church anymore that I had on the screen earlier. Does anybody remember the name of that church? I wish I could go back on Google Earth, like a back button. Yeah, I mean, some people get angry when they watch the live show. They go, gosh, I mean, it took you an hour to get to that one part, and then it was just... Yeah, I know, because this is a live show, idiot. Okay, don't watch it. All right, now if you want to scroll through and take your time to go find the spot, then go ahead. But that's not what we're doing. So way over here? That's right. It was like right around in here, wasn't it? Ah, crap. I don't remember. Yeah, I'm not going to spend a lot more time looking up the area. I mean, I know maybe it was over there, but that seems like such a long ways to go to drag a box. And look at that. No wonder you had to take a break at a church. Yeah. Yeah, I get to know everybody. I see the comments in there. People send me emails. We go over cases that other people, that freaks want me to cover. Well, awesome. Okay, there it is. 7,200. There we go. Let's see. Okay, yeah, so it is close to there, isn't it? Yeah, I remember there was trees like that. So you can't really see it from the house, because unless there's a window, like, well, no, that building would block it. Alright, so how were they doing that earlier? It was, the church was where, oh, that's right, so it was, body was placed right over here. So that's not that long of a walk. Just like this. To Walter Ogrod. I'm just going to quickly put this here because you never know if we might have to bring it back up again. Okay, that's the home. It's the home. And then here's a church where he rested. And then somewhere right around in this area is where body in the box. So now when you look at that, it's a little easier to picture, right? So right there, apparently, and I wonder how they were able, so she was killed in the house that he lived. Right, so that sort of I mean, it's weird that it would take them 4 years to want to recheck the people who live in the house where she was literally, they think she was murdered. Or maybe they didn't know until later. I don't know. I don't know if they knew where she was murdered originally. I don't know. It's an interesting one, though. Okay, well, I'm going to move on to another one. Oh, yeah. This is the one that we were talking about. Search for missing 22-year-old Tony Turner leads friends and family to Hill District. I think this is the one we talked about yesterday. The same link. All right, but anyways, Cairo's going to be heading out there, so hopefully, you know, we'll get a better view. He'll send me videos and, you know, probably of the tea shop, the bridge and the path. Maybe he can get some information from people at the tea shop. You know, the way he did with the bag. Remember the bag of bones? Remember that one? Yeah, he drove all the way over to where there was a bag of bones left on a door. And he went and asked some questions. It turns out I think that one was an accident, that somebody probably just fell off the path. Yeah, the bag of bones. You remember that one? I think that was your first gig, if you want to call it that. Yeah, we all offer something. I've noticed that a lot of times when I'm thinking about something and I bring something up, it leads to a longer, I think of stuff that's sort of not quite like what everybody else thinks about. I mean, I think that's how everybody is, though, right? I mean, John's got everything laid out really, you know, all the facts, because he's been looking at this case, that case for a long time, and he might do a documentary on it or something like that, but he wanted to do a podcast too, so he's got a bunch of information. So he's got just sort of more of the technical facts of it, where, you know, and we all offer something, right? That's the thing. It's an interesting one, though. Elisa Gomez. Yeah, he's an intrepid reporter. See, if you want to know what intrepid means. Fearless, adventurous, often used for rhetorical, you know, he's a fearless adventurous. Yeah, so you say it as a sort of humorous. So, there you go. And he is funny, because remember he did the Rachel Del Tondo? Maybe that one was, what was that first? When you went to Hank's Frozen Custard and saw somebody tweaking? Remember that one? And then the other one, probably my favorite one, though, is your GoPro on the road. I don't know why. That one's just... Really, Lanky Tor? Wow. That's nice. Yeah, I don't even know where that is at this point. But yep, the meth head at Hank's Frozen Custard, or whatever the hell it was. Who the hell would go eat that? Frozen custard. Come on, man. Give me 32 flavors any day, huh? Yeah, he looked like he was like breakdancing a little bit. Here, anyways, let's look up this one real quick. It's from, this is one that Dennis told me about. Bitter Creek Betty. It's a doe, you know, DNA doe, you know, like a unidentified woman. I think this is actually her face right there. So that's what she looked like when they found her. I don't know if you can see that, but... Okay, here's the... That's an actual... See, they drew that from this face. So that's an actual picture from her. But my God, that's so blurry. I mean, couldn't you guys have taken a clear photo for, you know, just so people can look at it and say, oh yeah, that's Aunt Betty, or, you know, it's just ridiculous. Okay, Bitter Creek Betty, Hispanic or white. The body was found unclothed and face down after it appeared to have been dumped from a vehicle at the top of a hill. Wow. The victim's body was completely frozen. She died between October 1991 and February 1992. She had been stabbed through the nose with an ice pick, which is listed as the official cause of death. That's crazy. She may have also been strangled and beaten. She was sexually assaulted in both lower body cavities. Oh boy. Man, what a nightmare. The victim had dark brown hair and eyes. She had a tattoo. Well, she was frozen solid. Hopefully the DNA survived and you guys kept it. She had a tattoo of a rose on her right breast, which was traced to a business in Tucson, Arizona. She had evidence of dental work. The victim had a vertical cesarean section scar. So, I mean, she probably has a kid somewhere. She had another scar on her left calf. The victim was previously thought to be Native American until DNA testing showed she was Hispanic and white. They found a pair of pink underwear, a pair of sweatpants. The victim wore a gold ring on her left ring finger. She also wore a gold necklace. Well, did you include the pictures of those? So, well, her name is Bitter Creek Betty. Hey, I said Aunt Betty a minute ago. Maybe I read it first and it just clicked into my head. Yeah, that's not common at all. A nice pick in the nose. Alright, so let's see if we can find this randomly on newspapers.com. Okay, so this is in Sweetwater, Wyoming. Not a lot of good paper resources in Wyoming, but let's try it. Wyoming. And this is 1991 to... I'll just put 93. And then, let's see. Nude body found. When was she found? February 1992. Or, no, she wasn't found then, but this could be it right here. Let's see. Hey, what did I say last night? What was the highway that I said? Isn't that weird? Everything's on. What was the highway? Come on, everybody. Come on, you heard me say it last night. Which one was it? Oh, yeah. Let's hold on. Don't get rid of that guy yet. Hey, no one has this name. You're an idiot. Bye-bye. All right. Yep, there it is. And look at this. Body found off I-80. Isn't that weird? I gotta get something fixed here. Hold on. Sorry it's so quiet, but I gotta get back up my chat window. I bet this is gonna be it. It is, I can tell by reading it. Just off to the side. I can just tell it's it. Isn't that awesome? Isn't that cool how you can find shit like that? So here we go. This is that person. Watch. Sweetwater County Sheriff's Department personnel are still working to identify a body found just off the westbound lane of Interstate 80 on March 1st, according to Sheriff Gary Bailiff. Wow, a sheriff with a last name of Bailiff. The victim was a Hispanic or Native American female, but that turned out to, it was Hispanic and white. Believed to be in her 20s, who stood between 5'3" and 5'7" and weighed about 125 pounds. She had a tattoo of a rose on the right side of her chest. An examination last week by forensic specialists in Colorado and an autopsy by County Coroner Michael Vase showed the woman died from an object inserted through the left nostril, which penetrated the I don't know what that is, sphenoid bone and caused death probably within seconds. The nude body was found by a truck driver. Wow, what a shock. Who had stopped at the Bitter Creek truck turnout. Officials said the body was probably covered with snow for a period of time and then was revealed when the snow melted. Bailiff said the department has sent out a nationwide... I'm going to grab this really quick. Don't want to lose it because that's definitely it. We'll call this one, shoot, what do we call this one? I'll call it like Doe, let's see, Doe, Bitter Creek, and what's the other one? Sheridan County. Okay, well, here's the thing is, they must have DNA because they were able to determine that there's two different does that have the same the same assaulter DNA on both of them. Okay, so she was raped, so obviously they were able to obtain the DNA. So why don't they now send it off to Parabon? Everybody's DNA. I mean, send all three of them off to Parabon. Hey, thanks, Tawanda. That's very, very kind of you.
Thank you, Gray. You work hard for the truth. 2 hearts.
Well, thank you. How you doing, Tawanda? I wonder why that doubled up like that. Hmm. Hey, listen. Hey, Lisa, I will. I'll cover it, okay? But don't go missing, all right? Okay. Well, that's good to hear. Takes a long time to get over that. I think I said on the podcast, I had a brother that passed away, and it took me about gosh, I don't know, probably 3 years before I sort of felt normal again. It's kind of this weird feeling. We were sort of in a daze a lot of times, you know. Bitter Creek Betty. What did I say? 1992. Almost back to it. I just got to get this in the system here. Got to keep it all ordered. Bitter Creek Betty Jane Doe. Okay. And now let's try to figure out where that was located, right? So now we're going to go on to Google Earth here, and we're going to create a, we'll call it Bitter Creek and Sheridan County Doe. Alright, and the first one we're going to look at here is where... Oh, that's not it. Right there. Where she was found. So they gave us a good hint there at the bottom. Died from, let's see, it was period of time. Yeah, that's exactly what it's like. You know, but it takes a while there, Tawana, so just hang out with all of us and see if your mind can get distracted sometimes. But what I found on for myself is that after losing somebody in your family that you're really close to, you actually end up being a little hardened later on any subsequent ones, because you think to yourself, like, what in the... It's one of the things that's sort of weird is when you hear people bitching and crying and getting upset about little things, you just look at it and go, wow, you have no idea. You have no idea. You know? Like, I just... even though I understand when people are sad about something, it's just some of the stuff people get upset about when you compare it to losing a sibling or something. It's almost laughable, really. You look at them and just think, man, you're ridiculous. I mean, imagine what you... I don't know. Sorry, I don't mean to offend anybody, but that's what I feel when you see people so upset about little things. Now, everybody gets upset about things, but it's when they make it where it's a really big deal for a long time, and it's just something so dumb. What was the one? God, I remember I had a girl. What the hell did she say? After my brother died. Oh, yeah. You know when you're talking to somebody and you say, like, no way, shut up, man. That's crazy. Like that? You know that? That kind of shut up where you say shut up like that? So my brother died in 86. I think it was like 87. Or maybe even later that year. And I was with a girlfriend and, you know, we were laughing at something and then she said something and I go, oh, shut up, man. No way. And then she goes, ooh.
You said shut up.
Yeah, Yeah, I didn't have any time for that at all. I just said, are you kidding me? Are you kidding? Wow. I just didn't care at all. It's like I didn't even have any ability to empathize with something that not only was weird, it was like my God. I mean, you went to this level of so much high emotion about something that actually matters, and then you're supposed to care about something that is so insignificant in the scheme of life, and then it's like, you're emotionless. Oh, no, it's not that. But I think it has made it so that I can talk about cases and not get teary-eyed and all that. I literally can just go over these cases, and just after my brother died, I was what was I doing? I think I was at a soccer game or playing at a football game, and then one of the freshmen that was on the the University of Oregon basketball team, I think his last name was Nash, he drowned right where I would go fishing. And one of the guys in my dorm dove in the water, and after a while, he was a search and rescue guy. He pulled him out, and he was dead. I mean, he literally sucked in, and I just looked at him on the bank, and it was just more of a curious thing at that point now. I was just looking at him like, God, that's crazy. That he's not alive. But prior to that, it probably would have really freaked me out. But I'd already seen my brother dead just months earlier on a gurney, and there's nothing... What's worse than that? So after that, it's like, oh yeah. Yeah, you get teary-eyed for a long time. But then when you learn to live with it, and you don't really ever get over it, you learn to live with it, and then things get normal again, you'll probably find that you're a little less, empathetic to just the small things. But you'd be really empathetic to somebody else losing a sibling or something, right? That's how I am. Like with you, I'm like, oh wow, that's because I know what you're feeling. But I don't have empathy for somebody saying, oh my God, man, my car, it got a dent in the left side. I'm like, who gives a shit? Okay, go get it fixed. Yeah, I graduated at Oregon State. I transferred. Yeah, maybe she'll have something crazy like that. So it's on I-80 in Wyoming. I mean, where does I-80 go, man? It must go... everywhere. It's just... Okay, that's I-80 right there. There you go. Okay, Bitter Creek truck turnout. Okay, let's see if I can find that. How about Bitter Creek? Okay, that's I-80. Put a little pin on there really quick. All right. And then we'll say Bitter Creek. Okay, now we know that's 80. Right there. So this is going to be, there's a truck turnout somewhere around here. Oh yeah, 80's up here. Okay. Do you think that's it? Or maybe truck turnout. That's Bitter Creek. And that's 80 right there. I have a feeling it's like right there. I'll just put that right there. Bitter Creek truck turnout. We can modify that later, but I'm just putting that right there. So that was 80. Actually, let's keep going over here. Maybe I can find it because it'll say Bitter Creek. Probably that way or something. Wait, is this... Am I going the wrong way on this one? Yes. Well, I don't know which direction, to be honest with you, but... But, Twanda, if you ever want to talk about anything related to your brother, let me know. Because I've been there. Just another classic. This is just such another classic sort of serial killer killing kind of thing, right? You got a trucker again, probably picked up a girl that was, you know, I don't know if she was a prostitute or not, but she could have very well been. And then the trucker kills her, just dumps her body and gets on his way. That's just sort of the way it is. It's crazy. Could be a lot. So that's 80 there. Maybe it's right in this. That's a hotel, right? That's a truck stop-ish looking place right there. Let's see. But it doesn't sound like that's where it was. It was on a turnout. Wasn't at a gas station or anything like that. Alright, so I'm going to save what I got right there. And then I'm going to go back to the newspaper.com and see what else was back at the search level here. So that was March 10th. Oh, look at it. It mentions that same thing again a year later. Look at this. Shows airs Sweetwater homicide. Crime show airs Sweetwater homicide. We'll try to identify the body of a woman found along Interstate 80 east of Rock Springs last March. Well, let's see where Rock Springs is. It's going to be right here, though. East of Rock Springs. Well, how's that? You said it was at the Bitter Creek. That doesn't make any sense. Rock Springs is right here. That means it's east of there. Maybe there's a back way that you take to get to Bitter Creek over there, maybe. And there's a... Don't you hate when it's inconsistent like that? They say, oh yeah, it's at the truck stop at the Bitter Creek turnout. And then the next article says, yeah, east of, and then it's a town that's not even anywhere near there. Look at it. It's way over there. East of there. That means it's over here somewhere. Yeah. Well, you guys are, you're my sister from another, that doesn't rhyme. Nothing rhymes there. Okay. The body of a woman found along Interstate 80 east of Rock Springs last March by taking the case to television. They're trying to solve it on TV. The case will be featured on the nationally syndicated crime show Prime Suspect. On today, said Sweetwater County Sheriff Gary Bailiff, the story will run on more than 100 television stations and the Fox network. The woman's nude body was found at the Bitter Creek truck turnout. Well, you know what? Let's see if that specific thing exists. Bitter Creek truck turnout. No. But then up here they said east of Rock. I think they meant west of Rock Springs. Okay? I just think that's an error. Unless there's an actual place. So that's the other town that, well, hold on. Rock Springs. You alright, Chloe? It's 30. Well, where's 80 then? So there, it says 80 right there, but then it turns into 30, but so that's probably the same thing. Yeah, there's 80. Okay, there's 80. I'm just going to drive this way for a little bit just to see if there's some random sign that said Bitter Creek this way, and then maybe that would be it. Dexter Road. Does this stuff right here just bore you guys to tears? I mean, I for me, this is just kind of what I do a lot of times. But I'm just wondering how it is for you guys. Hopefully you're having fun just hanging out. But I'm trying to figure out what the Bitter Creek exit is. Oh yeah? I always wonder. I mean, I ask you guys that a lot because sometimes I'm just not really focused in on saying anything. Alien Highway. Oh, cool. Alright. I know. It's like that's the only place I can move. So I'm just driving. I'm way east of where it seems like it's supposed to be. Hey, Cairo, did that clip ever make it up there today, the extra? Because we recorded it last night and I uploaded it to a folder. I don't know if he had time to do it or not. Wait, am I on the wrong side of the road? Oh. Shit. Now, usually signs aren't backwards. Wait, is that highway not there now, or what's going on? Do you see what I'm... Let me try that again. See, there's a road right there, and then there's one there. See, this is June 2019, but when you go up in the air, that road isn't there now. Isn't there? You see that? Pretty strange, huh? Well, it's good to see you, Lanky Tor. I know you've been busy with work and everything. Hey, thanks, Michelle Jennifer. You got 2 first names there. The Love Boat, exciting and new.
I love road trips with you, smiling face with smiling eyes.
Well, cool. Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on here in terms of the road, though. Because as soon as you go down to the road, there's another road over here. Although, it seems like they're sort of just pushing me off to the left. Because there's the railroad track. And there's really just one, I guess. Hey, alright. Lisa Bevan is a channel member now. The Freak 101. Okay, how about right there? You think that's possibly the Bitter Creek? No. Pilot Butte. Whoa, I just went into oblivion right there. Yeah, I don't know. I think they're messed up here. Well, let's see what this one says here. Will it say Bitter Creek Turnout? I'd like to live in that town right there. Gray, that's mean. I live there. Okay, great. Yeah, I was just wondering how it was. Yeah, but you said it like you know. Okay, you got me. I wouldn't want to live there. I'm sorry. Isn't that weird how I can have a conversation with myself and it's real? Like that's really what actually happens? Yes, so very desolate. I'm really thinking we need like a shirt or something that says desolate on it. It would be such a huge conversation starter. Like, what does that mean? My God, you have no soul or what? What's going on? And then you turn to him and say, no, it doesn't mean that. What it means is that bodies are buried in desolate areas. And see how that goes over. I'm sure that'll be a real big, a conversation piece and a winner at any good party. Yeah. Are you void of any emotions whatsoever? You have a desolate mind. I wonder what this one says. Maybe it'll say Bitter Creek. Come on. Wow, they've got a college in that town? Okay, I changed my mind. Yeah, there it is. Western Wyoming College. I went to Western Oregon College for a year, too. So there you go. Okay, I've changed my mind. And there's a truck, and wow, Salt Lake, huh? Man, just looking at this should be like the serial killer emblem right here. You know, Salt Lake, I-80, Green River Killer. You've got another 80. You know, it's just. Wow. Is there a tunnel there, or what's going on there? They must have cut... That must not be there anymore or something. Oh, there is it. Is there a tunnel? Oh, yeah. Definitely I can see it right there. Well, I guess if they were coming... Well, screw it. I'm done looking for that. What they're saying. So, the woman's nude body was found in Bitter Creek truck turnout, March 1st, 1992. An autopsy showed she died from a probe-like object that had been inserted through her nose and into her brain. And it was listed as an ice pick on the autopsy. We've followed up hundreds of leads to identify to her identity so far, all which have been dead ends. Bailiff said in a release to Thursday. So the thing is with truck drivers, he could have picked her up in Nebraska, kept her, killed her, dumped her in Wyoming, and man, the odds of finding, especially if it was a prostitute, the odds of finding who she was at that point would be really difficult. However, see what's great is this happened in 92? And at that time, DNA wasn't really talked about at all. So the person left their DNA. They, had sex with them through both. They said anally and, the normal, vaginally at the same time. Hey, Dennis, we're actually going over the Bitter Creek. Bitter Creek Betty right now. They're kind of being inconsistent in the article here, though. They said she was found east of Rock Springs, but then at the Bitter Creek truck turnout, which is nowhere near there. We followed up on hundreds of leads to her identity. Okay, her fingerprints were circulated to a wide range of law enforcement agencies, from the FBI to the Royal Canadian Mounted Police. None of them had any records of the victim. The woman is a white female with Hispanic characteristics. So they must have done some DNA testing back then, because remember originally they thought she was Native American, and then they were able to say that she was Hispanic and white. She is believed to have been between 24 and 32, 5 foot tall, 125 pounds, and with dark brown or black hair and dark eyes. She also has a large tattoo of a rose on her right breast. It was the rose tattoo that provided what has been our best lead so far. They were able to find the place where she was given the tattoos. So, it sucks that there wasn't a record at the tattoo shop. You'd think they would have written something down like, hey, Betty came in and had a tattoo made, Betty Johnson. A truck driver who saw a photograph of the rose identified the tattoo artist. Well, that's interesting. Another truck driver. A truck driver found her body, and then a truck driver identifies the rose. However, the tattoo artist said he never learned the woman's name. There you go. Bailiff hopes that the nationwide coverage that Prime Suspect the show provides will give investigators the break they need. All it will take is one person who recognizes her. I'm going to save this one too. That's not it. Yes, this is June. Sweetwater County Sheriff investigators have begun circulating a homicide victim photograph to media nationwide in hopes of identifying a woman found along the interstate this spring, according to department release. The nude body of a young woman was discovered March 1st, just off the westbound. Let me put that date there too. So now we're going to get better descriptions here, it sounds like. And the westbound lane, so I was right, it was heading that direction. Let's see. March 1st. $1992. Okay. Just off the westbound lane of Interstate 80, some 40 miles east of Rock Springs. No, it wasn't, though. See, that doesn't make any sense. See? Here's Bitter Creek. Right here, right? Or, excuse me. This is Bitter Creek, right there. Let's type in Bitter Creek, Wyoming. That's why she has the name. See, that's Bitter Creek, Wyoming right there. She was found at the Bitter Creek truck turnout. Okay, and then we go over here, and this is... Wait, what does that say Bitter Creek right there too? Look at that. What's going on? Is there two Bitter Creeks? I mean, there's one there, and then there's one... Is that the actual... creek, though? No, that's a town. Well, that might be the answer then. Okay, yeah. How could there be two Bitter Creeks? Look at that. Look it up here even. See on the screen? Can you guys see that? Look at watch. Right there. There's two Bitter Creek, Wyomings. So now this might make more sense now. I'm going to put a pin on this Bitter Creek right there. Then... let's see, what was the name of that town again? It was Rock Springs. Yeah, see, now that makes sense. I bet you anything that this is sort of 40 miles away. If I take this, go there, just do a general deal, I bet you anything it's around 40 miles. Yeah, 35 to there. Okay, now we're getting somewhere. Wow, can you believe that? Two Bitter Creeks? That's ludicrous. So the turnout must be like, let's see. So there's a road right there to that Bitter Creek, and then let's see, follow this along, and I bet you this runs back into 80 at some, yep, right there. Look at that. So is this where you turn out right here and then go under? Let's see. This would make sense. Totally in the middle of nowhere. Very desolate area. I bet you anything that's it. You take that exit, you go underneath there, and then you drive, and then you're there. Okay. Shit, that's not even anywhere near the other place. So that's Bitter Creek right there. Is there another way to get there? Like maybe right here? Because see, this one you can turn off and then take it straight down to Bitter Creek. So it could be that one too. Let's see what this says. I bet this one says Bitter Creek. I bet this is it. I'm gonna bet that that's it. Oh my god, it's not gonna let me get over there. It's having me switch. No, not there. I have a feeling it's this one, not that first one. Well, let's do 40 miles though. Let's see what that does. So there's Rock Springs, 40 miles. That's 48, and see where I thought it was, okay. And then if you go over here a little bit more west at that next one, I bet that's closer to 40 miles. So I'm going to grab this and move it down. It was the next one to right there. Because this would make sense. Like Highway 19 goes to Bitter Creek, see? Yeah, look at that, and that's Bitter Creek Road right there. Okay, boom. I think this is it. See, that's Bitter Creek Road, and that leads right up to this turnout right here. And I think this is where she was found, westbound. See, you're going westbound, you take the turnout, her body was found, and then it's also the Bitter Creek turnout, because then it heads down on the Bitter Creek Road right into the town. Okay, what do you guys think? I think that's going to be it. And watch this. I bet you if you measure from Rock Springs to that turnout, you'll get something that's very close to 40 miles. Watch. I go right there, and that is right. Well, it's 33.34 in the as a crow flies, but when they do these articles, they do it by the road. So let's try this one. And they're not always 100% accurate, but watch. I go ding, ding, ding. Just get a general deal here. And usually I do that about 75%. You add about 25% when it's a road, unless it's just a straightaway. I think you'll see that this will be close to 40. Now, it's 35, so, you know, I think that's it, though. 5 miles down the road is the other one, but I don't think that would be called the Bitter Creek turnout. This one makes sense. You take the exit, that's Bitter Creek Road right there. It even says it right on there, Bitter Creek Road, and I think that's it. So I'm going to stick with that. Okay, all right. And then I'm going to go to read the rest of this article and then maybe call it a day. 40 miles east of Rock Springs near Bitter Creek Turnout. So, to me, that makes sense. The Sheriff's Department sent out a nationwide flyer on the victim in March to law enforcement departments across the country and checked the National Crime Information Center, but after 3 months have not yet identified the victim. Authorities described the woman as Hispanic, 24 to 32, 5'8". She had a large tattoo of a rose on her right breast and a prominent cesarean scar. A spokesman for Sheriff Gary Bailiff said Wednesday the department had exhausted not all but the majority of options left in terms of identifying the victim. He said the victim's photograph and a department flyer on the victim is being circulated to every major visual media outlet in the United States. Wow. The department doesn't normally circulate photographs of the victim to media nationwide, as the spokesman said. See, I think they're thinking what I was thinking, is that she could have easily been picked up by a trucker and driven thousands of miles away from where she was originally picked up. The woman's nude body was deposited where it was discovered sometime between mid-October 1991 and the latter part of February of this year. She was frozen solid when they found her. An examination by a forensic specialist from Colorado and an autopsy by County Coroner Mike Vase showed the woman died from an object inserted through the left nostril, which caused death within seconds. Investigators said the murder weapon could have been an ice pick or another similar probe-like instrument. The release said the department would be prioritizing heavily Hispanic areas of the larger major metropolitan areas when circulating the photo and flyer. Yeah. Well, I'm going to save this one out too. It's got a lot of coverage for a doe, you know? Like, they really seem like they're trying to get the answer. Usually you get one article and that's it, and you never hear anything again. So maybe tomorrow I'll cover the other doe that's related to this one. And then maybe we'll do a show then where we put them all together. Let's see, 1992. Let me just see if there's any other updates in here. Yeah, that was the original. So was she called that for a while? Let's see. Bitter Creek Jane Doe. So this is 2018. So they might be doing something with this one. Hold on, now I have to save this one. Work continues on 26-year-old murder case at DCI. The victim remains unidentified along with another girl by the same man dumped in Sweetwater County. Despite 26 years of separation between the incidents, wow, So that was 26 years later, the Sheridan County one? Okay, now I got it. Now this is crazy now. Wow. So that means, you know that there's way more victims then. This guy isn't going to be killing 26 years apart. Forget that. Like, he's not going to be just, hey, I'm going to kill again 26 years later. You know that he's killed many times in between that. They just didn't find the bodies on those other ones. Man, they got a lot more in there. Okay, well, might have to go back over this tomorrow then. Would you guys be interested in going over this? Because I want to put them both together and see what's up. Because they definitely have DNA from both scenes. So they should be able to do Parabon on one of the three people. Don't you think that somebody should be identified here? There's 2 victims and a killer. They have DNA of all 3 of them. Okay? And this is what I'm saying. This should have been the first thing done once this technology was developed. What does this say right here? Hold on. The intrigue grew into a passion. After that, I just kept going. With Marshall came across the 2 female victims on a website called Web Sleuth. Several hobbyists created multiple websites to help investigators with their search for identification for bodies. Okay, well, anyways, that got kind of interesting at the end there, but it's too late right now. I got to go to sleep. You know, yeah. Well, you just send it off. You don't need a lab or anything. You just send off. Anybody in forensics over there can extract a tooth, and then you send it to. You know, you ask DNA Doe Project or anybody else how to do it, and then they send the. I guess for DNA Doe Project, they send it off to the Netherlands, and they extract DNA outside of the. Out of the tooth, and then you upload it to GEDmatch and you start working on it. Okay, well, that's going to be it. So thank you to Lanky Tor, Lori Staggs, Christy Seep, Lane S, Sooner History, Tawanda, thank you very much. Michelle, Jennifer, and Lisa Bevan became a channel member as well. And then also now I'm going to start over and mention everybody from today. So hold on. So we have everybody from today is Michelle, Jennifer, Tawanda, Sooner History, Lane S. Well, actually, Michelle, Jennifer came in after midnight, so that counts as the next day. So Tawanda, Sooner History, Lane S, Lori Staggs, Lanky Tor, Amanda Shirley, Robin Frost, Shelly Ann again, and those are the super chats from today. And then in the Gmail, see if I got any PayPal. Oh yes, and then Linda Howell on PayPal earlier tonight. Thank you. All right, so I'm gonna Where are we going this time? Give me another cool place to fly. I want to go back over to like Colorado or something. Ah, heck. It's always so much better just to go over here. Pick anything in this red area and it looks cool. Seems like the mountains are gone though, doesn't it? Like the terrain. Oh no, it's good. There. I might just do one round because it's so late. There we go. Start right there. Nice little reveal as it comes over the edge, right? Am I buffering? Jessica Shuba. Good night. Wouldn't it be cool to be up on top of it? Yeah! That looks like words, doesn't it? Cardioid. Doesn't that look like that's like words? Like letters that were, you know, I mean, it looks weird, right? Because it sticks out even when you go up higher and shit like that. Like the word never or some shit like that. Anyways, what is that? Oh, really? Cool. Yeah, well, we found a whole bunch of different articles. I'm going to keep going through those. I want to see what else there is on that, but then I want to make the connection between the two cases. See that right there? There's an R, an F or something, like a... It's gotta be really there. Wow. All right, everybody. Thank you for showing up tonight. And as I always say, everybody, until next time, be safe out there.